Just a heads up guys, around the 6-minute mark I've gone a little bit of an unscripted rant, so apologies for the long ums and ahs and pauses while I try and think what I want to say without offending anyone, even though I probably have offended someone. Even what I'm saying now is probably offending somebody, but that's just a heads up. So around the 6-minute mark I'll probably put a bit of text on screen and say this is unscripted, but just a heads up so you don't feel confused and you've skipped into another video. Anyway, enjoy this video up until the 6-minute mark. Jesus, I'm rambling again. Before we get into today's video, I need to address some of the reaction to my Do Not Buy Metal Gear Survive video. I made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologise. What I came across when I played the beta that day was obviously unplanned. The reactions you heard in the video were raw, they were unfiltered. I didn't know how to react or how to feel. I should have never uploaded the video. I should have put my Elgato down and stopped recording what I was going through. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't, and for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. Now obviously that was me poking fun at Logan Paul's apology, but I do want to address the people that are commenting on my Do Not Buy Metal Gear Survive video. Let me know that they are actually buying the game. To those people I say, so? You spending money on what seems to be a pretty average game doesn't harm me at all. The internet can be a strange place sometimes. Anyway, in my recent video about Metal Gear Survive, I mentioned that if we're to get game companies to listen to us, we need to vote with our wallets. Hit them where it hurts and bring about a bit of change. In the past 2 to 3 months we've seen two great examples of this in action. The first and very obvious example is Star Wars Battlefront 2. As you all no doubt aware, and I mean my granddad, who is by no means a gamer, knew about this, Battlefront 2 was a $60 game with a free-to-play progression model. In-game boosts could be earned from loot boxes, and to access the likes of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, arguably many people's reason for buying the game, was estimated to take as long as 40 hours of gameplay. Needless to say, the gaming community as a whole, not just Battlefront 2 fans, were outraged with this sheer act of greed by EA. The outrage became mainstream news, with major outlets such as CNN covering the story. It is rumoured that Disney CEO Bob Iger put in a call to the EA CEO Andrew Wilson, voicing his concerns that the unwanted attention Battlefront 2 was getting could harm how the Star Wars brand was perceived by the public. Our voices were heard. EA removed all microtransactions from the game, but the game's grindy progression system still remained. That was until this week, with microtransactions still switched off. EA provided us with an update that the progression system will be revamped, and that this revamp will address many of the things we've been asking for. 1-0 to the people with the wallets. Last week it was Ubisoft's turn up to bat for the shitty game developers who make dumb decisions Little League team. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that has gone from strength to strength since launch in 2015. The game has received various updates, patches, free maps and new operators to ensure that not only does the game remain fresh, but the player base doesn't get split like it does in games such as Call of Duty and Battlefield 1, where season pass holders or people who buy the map packs are normally separated from those who don't. This model earned Rainbow Six a lot of goodwill. Sure, there were complaints about the game's netcode and that the new operators cost far too much in-game currency, but the public's perception of Siege was pretty good. So what better way to build on that goodwill than announce that you'll be increasing the price of the game you launched in 2015. Okay, granted, it's a little bit more complicated than that. What they're actually doing is scrapping the standard edition of the game, which was $40, and selling you the advanced edition for $60. To sweeten the deal, Ubisoft also kindly chucked in 600 Rainbow Six credits and 10 Outbreak collection packs. This angered Rainbow Six players for a variety of reasons. Firstly, the Outbreak packs that Ubisoft so generously handed over with the advanced edition of the game are only obtainable during the Outbreak event, which is not unusual in gaming. What is unusual though is that you can only earn those Outbreak packs by spending real world money. People who had supported the game since its somewhat rocky launch were understandably pissed at this. Why should somebody just getting into the game get something for free when these loyal players are going to have to fork over hard earned cash for packs? It's the latest in a long line of Ubisoft shoehorning microtransactions into their games. Ghost Recon Wildlands and even Assassin's Creed Origins, which let's not forget is a single player game, suffered the same fate but have largely gone by unnoticed. That was until people called out EA on their bullshit, and now every gamer is aware that if these practices seem greedy, we can speak up and be heard. After a lot of discussion on the Rainbow Six Siege subreddit and various YouTube commentators such as Jim Sterling covering the topic, Ubisoft responded. They come bearing gifts, with anyone that plays between now and March 6th being given Ash's Sidewinder Elite skin. As people mentioned on Reddit, this skin would have probably been the highest selling Elite skin so far, so make of that what you will. They also decided to backtrack on the removal of the standard edition and left it alone, particularly addressing anyone who was worried about introducing friends to the game, which I think Siege has built a big player base off people recommending it to family members and friends, so you can understand why that was a concern for some of the players. They're also addressing the length of time it takes to unlock operators in the Starter Edition. The Starter Edition, which is only available on PC for $15, changes how much renown, the game's in-game currency, it takes to unlock operators from the standard 500 to 2,000 renown to a whopping 12,500 renown. So obviously the Starter Edition is a budget version of the game, and to try and recoup the money lost from people buying the $15 version of the game, they recoup that through microtransactions. That's the plan, but a lot of people are arguing that even at a $15 price, 12,500 renown per operator is a little bit ridiculous. Still no word on the Outbreak packs. It seems that Ubisoft is sticking to its guns with that one. Pun most definitely intended. Still, they've gone back on what they said, so I make that 2-0 to the people with the wallets. If the last 2 to 3 months have taught us anything, it should be that we, as a collective, are powerful. When we're upset, game companies may take it in their stride and try to ignore us. But when we take away the money that they're so used to receiving from us, the suits who make up the company's shareholders begin to panic and pressure game companies to act. Now more than ever, we need to be all over this shit. We can't let one game slip through the crack and implement microtransactions in a way that detract from the game. Our voices have been heard now, so let's continue to make sure they're heard for many, many more years to come. I also want to take this time to address a couple of comments on the Konami Metal Gear Survive video, asking am I not scared of pissing off publishers or annoying Konami, and a couple of people even said that I was pandering to an audience because I knew that many people were on my side with my opinions on Metal Gear Survive. Firstly, I receive very few games from developers. And if I do receive games, it's usually from really cool indie companies, or I have a very good relationship with someone over at Bethesda who helps out quite a lot, and I have a very good relationship with somebody at Team 17 who helps out a lot. But if they screw up, I will call them out on it. So let me be clear about that. My opinion won't be swayed by who I may or may not know. Also, whilst we're on that topic, people were asking why I didn't call out Battlefront 2 or Destiny 2 for similar sort of issues. First of all, I don't really make a lot of talking videos. I'm trying to do more now because it's something to keep the channel fresh, so I will be making more. But Battlefront 2 happened in November, and I wasn't making those sort of videos back then, so I wouldn't have called it out. I couldn't do that. Secondly, I don't know enough about Destiny 2, I'm afraid. I'm not going to sit here and tell you my opinion on something that I know nothing about. That would be hypocritical of me and almost ignorant to do so. Telling you how you should think or how I think, even though I'm not even entirely sure how I feel. I don't really know what's been going on in Destiny. I know there's been a lot of issues and some lies from Bungie, but again, I couldn't give you the ups and downs of that. I don't know what's going on. Secondly, to the people that say I was pandering to an audience with my Metal Gear Survive video, and I don't know, was I trying to get likes, like you get paid per like? I don't know. That's not the case at all. A lot of people have short memories in this industry, and it's very important that we don't let game companies off for some of the shit they seem to pull. As I mentioned in that video, I'm not a Kojima fanboy. I haven't completed MGS5. It wasn't a great Metal Gear game in my opinion. But I'm not going to sit here and allow Konami to, one, cancel PT, which looked absolutely unbelievable. Well, I say cancel PT. They cancelled Silent Hills and removed PT from the PlayStation Store. But to completely can that, then they go and remaster the MGS3 cutscenes. They put in a pachinko machine, which is a gambling machine in Japan, I think, a popular gambling machine. Why would I... That's not me pandering to Kojima. That's me calling out Konami for being shit, to put it bluntly. So I understand that video could have been divisive, and some people fall on one side of the fence and some people fall on the other, but just understand this. I have very few allegiances. If I have a console of choice, it's an Xbox. Why? Because I had the Xbox 360 since it launched, and I like having a pretty high gamer score. That's it. But that doesn't mean the Xbox is immune from criticism. Whenever I make a video, don't try and read between the lines. If I make a video, it's because that's my opinion on the day or how I feel. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Chances are I will not receive any games from Konami in the future. But who cares? What are they making now that is of any interest to me? Ubisoft never sent me a game. EA have never sent me a game, so who cares about that? I have to go out and buy them myself, which is probably a good time to pimp out my Patreon, which is in the description. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, feel free to do so. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you understand the message I'm trying to get across, that the more we stand up for ourselves and the more we speak up, the better things will get. So with that being said, I'll speak to you all later.